Aloha everyone. I will be talking about whether companies should look at prospective employees' social media profiles and my personal stance on the matter. I think companies shouldn't use social media screening as a way to hinder or help the hiring process. It proves ineffective, morally unethical, and irrelevant. Social media doesn't reveal job performance, it is unlawful and can lead to lawsuits, and it shows a lack of training and development within the company. Before we get more into the matter, let's explain some general terms and ideas. The act of an employer using social media as a means to determine whether a potential employee is fit for a job is called social media screening. The intent of the employer is to learn more about the applicant's background as part of the hiring process. A social media background check can be performed by anyone for any reason. The liberties of what can be checked depends on the platform and the user's security settings. If your account is made public, it is available to be viewed by anyone, free of charge. Employers who choose to do this are looking for so-called red flags. Red flags that may come up include unlawful activity, racist or sexist comments, violent or aggressive behavior, and sexual and confidential information. Now that we have some background information out of the way, it's time to explain how social media does not reveal job performance. Most employers who do check social media profiles use a non-standardized way of evaluating, which doesn't show anything of real data or value. Employers evaluate based on what is given at face value, which doesn't correlate to work performance. When employers use social media checks to reject candidates, we have no idea whether that employee would have slacked or failed if they had been hired. There's no way you can actually show work ethic through pictures or posts. It can only be showcased in instances like the interview or the training stage. Any non-standardized process of doing anything results in an inconsistent data and inconsistent evaluating of that data. Employers would be considering factors that aren't even related to the job they are hiring for. To have a healthy, balanced life, everything that happens at work should stay at work. Everything that stays at home should stay at home. By doing social media screening, you then merge the two, which shouldn't happen because they have nothing to do with each other. Social media screening is unlawful and can lead to lawsuits, and employers may freely choose to do internal social media background checks. However, despite having potential benefits to making the hiring process easier, it includes time-consuming work and sometimes serious risk. There is always a chance to either accidentally or purposely violate personal freedoms and/or discrimination laws. Discrimination claims are also a clear risk that can arise from performing social media checks. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 explains that employees and job applicants are protected from employment based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin. When an employer chooses to learn about a person's personal information, it opens up the company and employers to potential lawsuits. The purpose of employers looking at prospective employees' social media is to find desirable candidates, but this can lead to discrimination claims. Someone's personal social media may reveal personal information such as sexual orientation, gender identity, and religion. This is information that would otherwise not be on a professional resume. If a potential employee can prove that an employer's social media search hindered their process of development within the company, then the prospective employer could be liable for an anti-discrimination case. The online legal guide, Justia, writes about a case on how a plaintiff was not hired for a position for which he was more than qualified. An investigation revealed that during the search process, a committee member found his personal website referencing religious topics including statements that question the theory of evolution itself. The results found that the court in that case found that there was a genuine factual issue about whether religion was a motivating factor in the company's failure to hire the plaintiff. Social media screening as a way to help or hinder the hiring process of a prospective employee proves lack of training and documentation. Companies who conduct social media background checks often receive no training. They come up with their own process, which proves to be inconsistent. Any checker of social media should be taught of what the common tendencies and problems are with doing these type of background checks. Part of that training should include methods of documenting what they find when they conduct social media screening. It is a crucial part of the hiring process that recruiters and hiring managers document all aspects of the hiring process. So it would be wise to treat social media checks the same. Records should be kept of what these checkers are looking at and the factors they evaluated when determining the idea of hiring that employee. This goes hand in hand with negative effects from a legal point of view. A lack of records can be a real problem if a lawsuit should arise from a candidate being rejected. Honestly, our society is growing and becoming more technologically advanced, so social media does have the potential to become a useful tool in the hiring process in the future. If companies do decide to use social media screening, they have to take the time to train their in-house managers, who are most likely going to be the checkers of employee social media. A company can also outsource a third-party social media screening company. That means that the company has to communicate with the outsourced company and use that as a tool, but not be the final decision maker in the hiring process. Social media screening can impact the credibility of the company and lead to low performance. From most new employees' point of view, this doesn't sit well with the employees. They may feel a plethora of negative emotions. And in the long run, this could impact mutual trust and loyalty between prospective and current employees. This is a violation of their personal life, and the formality between an employee and an employer are broken. From an employer's point of view, you would want your company to be perceived as trustworthy and welcoming to anybody. Any good employer would want to hire employees based on good work ethic and good merit. A company that doesn't have a foundation based on trust and inclusivity will lead to the employee's level of motivation to decrease, leading to a decline in their performance or work habits. To the bigger picture, or to explain the bigger picture, this impacts money and sales, which is what a company needs in order to survive. In conclusion, conducting any form of social media checks as a way to hinder or help the hiring process proves ineffective, morally unethical, and irrelevant. Social media does not reveal or showcase a person's work ethic. There should be a clear distinction between your work life and personal life. These two aspects of life have nothing to do with each other. Conducting these types of background checks has serious legal ramifications and risk. Employees are vulnerable to violate such acts like Title VII of the Civil Rights Act, which protects employees from at-work discrimination based on race, religion, sex, sexual identity, and etc. Although critics can argue that social media screening helps the process, but in order to help the process and become a useful tool in the technological age, it needs to go through a lot of development and improvement. So there is a morally right and standardized way of evaluating someone's social media. It can impact the mutual trust and loyalty of prospective and current employees. And if a company lacks these crucial values, such as trust and loyalty, then it will be sure to meet its downfall. Downfall in work performance and drive from your employees, and a downfall in sales and money, which any company needs. These are all reasons to why I believe that social media screening at this moment in time is an ineffective way of hiring prospective employees. Thank you.